Hi, my name is Pongsakorn. Today, my group is going to talk about the case study Ricardo Semler, a revolutionary model of leadership. First, let me start by introducing my group member in order of the speaker. First, we have Priyanshi, then Aza, Peter, Carol, me, and Amar. We are going to answer all these three questions here. The first one is, what are the key change management events in this case study before pre-1980 and post-1980? The fifth question is, how does Lewin's three steps model help to explain the phases of change in this case study? The last question is, how would you define leadership in the organization before and after the change process? Let's start with Priyanshi.
Hello, my name is Priyanshi. I and Azza are going to talk about the key chain management event in this case study before 1980 and after 1980. I will be covering the part before 1980. After getting all the operations from his father, Ricardo focused on two things. First, diversification, where he introduced many procedures, acquisitions, and wide variety of range of products. Second, modernizing the company. Here he fired 60% of his father's executives and employed new ones. All of this was because of the kind of leadership style they were following till now. Autocratic leadership style. Where the power is with managers, all the decision making is done by managers. Only managers can decide the policies, procedures, rules, and how is work to be done. And also who will do what is decided by only managers. There is no count of subordinates' views and ideas. The rewards, salaries, working hours, and bonus is decided by only manager. Semco's main problem were stressed and unhappy employees. Second, suffocating working environment. This was because employees had hectic schedules, a lot of family complaints, and non-flexible working hours. There are many other effects of autocratic leadership style like lack of sense of connectedness, demotivating, and lack of responsibility, etc. Further, the slides will be explained by Azad.
So I'll continue what my colleague already discussed. In the pre-1980, the leadership styles that they used was autocratic styles, but here the change in the leadership styles is needed into democratic styles. According to Mullins 2010, power shared with the employees is important and they will get greater participation and distribution from the employee. And the leader should listen to the employee voice to make a decision. And these are the key chains of management of our SEMCO for the implementation of democratic leadership. We got a point. The first one is search committee of workers. Workers were allowed to research and make decisions themselves to control and set up and run. And then the second one is flexible working hours, especially for the manufacturing shop workers. They can set up according to the convenience time. And then profit sharing, they got 20 until 30% of revenue, and they decide to divide it equally from the manager until the lower staff. And then employee own salary, it means they consider about the how long they provide the service to the customer, how long they work, so it depends on it. And then temporary co-management is like a third parties, like a cleaning service and or someone who running the cafeteria. And also the last one is based on the SEMCO problem that the employee getting stressed because of the autocratic leadership, and maybe in here they need to facilitate group discussion to hear the complaint from the employee. So the next question will be discussed with my colleague. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Peter. For this part of question 5, Carol and I will answer this question. How does Lewis' 3 steps module help to explain the phases of change in this case study? Step 1 is unfreeze. Create the impetus for change. Because of the economic crisis in 1980s, the Ricardo's company met a big challenge. He firing 60 of his father's top executives, he hired his own people for the company. They worked very hard together. But people always complain about these new rules. They felt high pressure. The second step is change. Point out the direction of change and enable members to develop new attitudes and behaviors. In 1984, Ricardo first set about changing himself, like leaving office at 7 and stop working on weekends. He trusts his people and gave them more freedom. This kind of democracy made people feel more comfortable. But some leaders in company complain about this. They think people got more rights, people got more things. But Ricardo said he wants people to be bosses due to their knowledge and leadership qualities, not due to their titles. The third step, please, Carol. Thank you.
I'm Yu Tingzhu, and I'm going to talk about the last step. Change is a familiar concept for most businesses today. To keep up with the pace of innovation, organizations should be able to change their direction fast, like strategy, operations, processes. According to Levin's change management model, rephrasing is the final step of changes, and this step involves reinforcement, stabilization, as well as solidification of the change process. This means that before you make a change, you first unfreezing the status quo. You need to, after all, break down the status quo before you can change it. This stage involves communicating the need for change and getting your employees on board the initiative. After more than a decade of initiating change processes with the organization and encountering resistance to change, the firm and its employees finally accepted that Semler's decisions were appropriate for the company. By doing this, the firm was able to achieve an overreaching transformation, which was carried out under a highly democratic leadership style in a place that guided the development of sustainable culture with the organization. This also ensures the company to continuously develop in a creative way in a long term.
Hi, my name is Pongsakorn. For question 7, Amar and I will answer how would you define leadership in the organization before and after the change process. Before the change process in Semco, the CEO of the company is the one who has the power to control everything in the company. We call this power culture. That means the leader is the dominant of an individual who makes the key decisions throughout the organization. The company had hierarchical organization charts, which in this case had a negative impact on the employees. They didn't have the ability to make a decision. They had fixed working hours. Some of them had to work for long hours, and their family were complaining. Or we can say that the autocratic leadership style had a negative effect on both the company side and the employee side. So if I have to define the word leadership from this scenario, the leader is the one who has total control of everything in the company. He will do anything that he sees good for his company, regardless the employee's feeling or thought. That was the poor leadership style. For after the change process, Amar will continue from this. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad Nofal and I'm going to answer the seventh question, which is how would you define leadership in organization before and after the changing process? So my friend Luke just answered that before, so that changing process, and I'm going to answer after the changing process. So after the changing process, leadership style has changed to democratic leadership style, which is the democratic leaders establish guidance and empowerment to make an effective use of their abilities. So what he did is actually he made it clear that he trusts the employees. The second one is no dress code, so the employees can dress whatever make them comfortable. And also he did working freely. The fourth one is no human resources workers are allowed to hire new members of their teams and fire those who didn't measure up. The fifth one, flexible working hours. The employees can choose working time by themselves. The sixth one, allowing employees to make their key decisions. The seventh one, profit sharing to employees equally across the department, regardless of being manager or low-level staff. The last one is evaluation. He allowed the employees to evaluate their boss and their managers. Thank you.
And that brings me to the end of our presentation here. Thank you for watching and hope everything is going back to normal soon. Stay safe. Bye.